We got a fun-filled show tonight.
I met a boy today.
It's your boy, Coach Career, the General. 860 Army.
She loving my style every time I'm.
You ain't need more money, Tito. You could have just invited 6 or 8 you down to Nationals.
I'm around.
When certain people don't get their way or they feel slighted, they feel like they have a right to call us and voice their opinion. You don't.
We lock the
I've never removed a staff to allow a staff to move up.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Now everybody's a personal trainer. We know who the originals are, but now if you look, you can find them in every town.
What up? Gotta share it.
That's what I'm doing. What's going on, baby?
Chilling, man. Same shit. Same ish, different day, dog. It's downtime in youth football right now, man. There's not too much going on, but we're gonna make it do what it do.
Well, it's about to kick up a notch now. NEYT starts this weekend. We had one of the tournaments last weekend. We'll touch on that real quick. You know, a couple Connecticut teams brought that thing home.
Yeah, I saw the post on social media. It looked like kids and family have fun. My one experience with Atlantic City wasn't so hot.
Yeah, Atlantic City's one of them.
Talking about the city going down there.
Atlantic City's hit or miss. You either really, really like it, or it could be not a great experience.
Huh?
I said Atlantic City's hit or miss. You either gotta have a really good time, or if you're not used to that type of thing, you could have a real bad time.
I was, when I thought about Atlantic City, I thought about Vegas.
Yeah, it ain't that dog. I mean, it ain't Vegas, not to me. Anyway.
But that's in my mind. That's what I thought. Vegas. This gonna sound crazy. Vegas, I found to be much cleaner.
Oh yeah. No. Let me tell you something. Atlantic City, like, all right, the area where the casinos and the boardwalk is all right. But soon as you step out of Atlantic City, you're in the trenches, dog. Make no mistake about it. Atlantic City is the trenches. I
walked out my hotel.
It ain't. You gotta look at it this way. You gotta look at it this way. Atlantic City's between Camden and Philadelphia, and both those places are rough ass places, dog. You know what I'm saying? Atlantic City is equally as rough. That's all I'm gonna say.
Anyway,
it's equally as rough.
It's your boy PH the Prez, Mr. Above 140. I'm here with my co-host.
It's your boy Coach Career, the General. Bell City Broncos, 860 Army.
All right, Tito. So we do got a special guest coming on from the youth football world. His transition to high school, Coach Shannon. But before we get to him, let's talk about Gino real quick. I'm gonna be honest. Well, I'll let you go. We didn't get a chance to talk about Gino Auriemma running up on
Dawn Staley,
South Carolina coach. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's always a backstory, right? I guess there was a pregame. There was no handshake or something. Gino felt slighted. I mean, bottom line is, I think Gino's human. He had a moment. He had his undefeated season get snapped by Dawn Staley, who's been up and cutting. It's not like she's a new commodity in the women's basketball world. We grew up watching Dawn Staley play. She's become a great coach. She's created a great program at South Carolina. I mean, she beat them fair and square. I think Gino, which we all have had happen to us, even at this level, where sometimes a bad loss, the worst of you comes out. You know what I'm saying? And I believe he had one of those moments. I mean, he's human like everybody else. I mean, they snapped his perfect season. I mean, I think the fact that he's saying there was no handshake pregame, I think that's an excuse. I think he just had it.
Because she shook his hand.
Well,
He
I
shook
don't
him
know
and his own staff
whether
hand.
she did or didn't is irrelevant. My point is, I think Gino just had a moment, bro. He had a moment, and it was a bad moment captured on national TV.
Bro,
that's my take on it.
Like, I think the obviously we know Gino had a weak moment. Here's the only part I didn't get. And maybe he's done it now because I seen multiple statements. You're right. I think he was pissed that he lost. Clearly. Here's my thing, though. I don't think you get to have had caused that much heartbreak over the last 20 years and react the way you did because your season got snatched away. I do not believe you get to react like that when just last year you beat her by a dub. Tito, in the championship. You blew her out. She shook your hand and walked off, bro. Let me ask you this, Tito. Do you think if he had won, he would have reacted like that?
No, of course not. Of course not. But I also think he had this kind of feud. You guys don't remember, and this is going to go over some people's heads. He had this kind of feud with Pat Summitt. Somehow, he's a man in a woman-dominated arena, but somehow he gets in these tiffs with women. That part is always what I never understood about Gino. Like, who wants to be that dominant over, a man in a woman-dominated sport? Because his record's astonishing. His accolades are impeccable. But he gets in these tiffs with women that I've always found a little strange. And I've always found it strange he never wanted to transition to the other side to see if he could do it where it makes more sense.
I didn't find it strange. I'm going to tell you why. Gino don't like being challenged, bro.
Not true.
Why did him and Pat Summitt have a rift?
That could be part.
Pat Summitt was every now and then. Pat Summitt smack him on his ass.
Well, pull up her numbers, bro. She was Gino before Gino. She had to dominate.
My point is, the people who you saying why Gino never had a riff with Quinnipiac, coach, right? He never had a riff with her. He have riffs with people that every now and then they slap him on his ass where he don't like it. Pause. If you got to say pause. But he don't like when he getting his ass.
We like Mano. We get a pass on that, bro. We ain't from the pause coaching. That's these young boys.
People watching
we ain't from the pause coaching.
Take my clip and loop it, man. But
you know what's funny? These cats always want to say pause, but the era cats that came up with the pause, and I know they try to put it on the older heads, but it was the younger generation that pushed it forward. Yeah, Dame was saying it years ago. We heard pause years ago, but it didn't become a thing to the more feminine era started using it. Of men, I'm talking about, of course.
Yeah. Listen, I just think that Gino Auriemma, obviously he had a moment. Like all of us, he deserved a pass. But Gino broke a lot of hearts, bro. Like, this man, he might be the greatest coach ever by record. Ever. In any sport. Like, who's greater?
Bro, just because Trez pissed me off now, let me go get my ring light, bro. I should have brought it down the first time. Let me go get the ring light, bro. Go ahead, carry the conversation, bro.
He want me to carry the conversation. So here's what I'm going to do. Before we bring on the coach, I'm going to show y'all where Tito was wrong about something. What I don't like doing, y'all, is what I don't like doing is saying, well, maybe if she shook his hand or if she didn't. No. We got to deal with the facts of what happened. Dawn Staley, whatever, Gino handshake. We need to deal with the facts that she actually shook his hand. is it. Right? Like, I'm about to show you. She shook this man's hand. So it's no way we could say she didn't shake his hand. She shook this man's hand. Let's back this up. Like, let's be factual. This is before the game. That says 2026. Y'all see this, right? This is not a different year. This is 2026 right behind her. He went right here. She's shaking Gino's hand before the game. How many times do you shake the other person's hand, Tito, before a football game? If he come and say, what up, cool. You don't go find him a second time to shake his hand. She shook Gino's hand. Let's keep going. Pat on the back and a hug. Dap up the coach. Dap up another coach. Mind you, a staff behind him. Give a hug to a coach. Dap up a coach. Let's go to the team managers and equipment managers and medical staff. Shook all their hands. She didn't have to go that far, Tito. All the way down the way and shook his hand. It was not about a handshake. Gino don't like being challenged. And I get it. None of us really want to be challenged when you're on top of the throne. When you start to feel like things slip, emotions is involved. Because you can't explain what's going on, right? You can't explain it. And so to me, my only problem with Gino is I never seen, listen, I tell you this all the time, Tito. What I don't like as men, what we have to do a better job of is publicly disrespecting people and privately apologizing. I'm not with that shit.
Yeah, nah, that's corny.
Stop publicly disrespecting people and privately apologizing. If you publicly disrespect someone and it was a heated argument, you was a mistake and you're going to man up, then publicly apologize to that person. That's all you have to do. But don't publicly disrespect me and inbox me, I'm sorry. No, because you done left it out there that you publicly disrespected me. You done left that thought of what you put out in the world. But he went on the thing. Oh, her jersey got ripped and she didn't shake my hand. So you know what he should have done? Because cameras will follow Gino. You should have went right on the UConn campus in front of a camera and said, listen, I apologize. Dawn actually did shake my hand. It was a misunderstanding. And her kids did not rip my player's jersey. It was not ripped by them. That was also wrong. And I apologize. That's it. But to stand on, clearly that statement was put out by UConn. You can see that statement wasn't put out by Gino. That statement was I apologize to the South Carolina program, and I didn't want to take away from what they accomplished. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Those girls didn't get really no recognition prior to that championship game, and then they got smacked. And you can't tell me Gino wasn't sitting around having a drink to that. And so I do think that Gino took away from the South Carolina girls, and I don't think he gave her the proper public apology that she deserved. Because I'm not.
I agree, Kennedy. I agree. That's what I said. I've seen him get into these tiffs with women that I quite can't understand, being the type dude I am. But it ain't for me to understand. Again, a dude he's clearly dominated women basketball and never wanted to try to elevate that on the other side. I don't understand as a competitor. I just don't understand it.
So I seen this. I want to know what y'all getting at when you say Gino showed all his true faces while Bill. I saw that there. I don't take Gino to be no type of way. Now, mind you, I did not talk to the man, but I worked at UConn. I worked inside Gamble. I was an IT tech. He was really good with those young ladies. Tough, but always really good.
I'm going to tell you like this.
A good person to him.
In 1992, I played in the Nutmeg Games. In 1992, I played in the Connecticut Nutmeg Games. My father, obviously, as everybody knows, was a coach. He had a clinic in downtown New Britain at the old Radisson. That was it, where it's La Quinta now, whatever it's called, right in downtown, in the banquet area. I went with my father to the clinic. He had brought Rebecca Lobo in. And one thing I know about Gino is he has that thing about him, how Phil Jackson had about him, how Belichick had about him, Nick Saban had about him. These dudes, when you watch them or even talk with them, there's a level of arrogance. I don't even know if you could call it arrogance. They're so detailed and so focused that it comes off arrogant. You know what I mean? He has that
same
shit.
Thing Dion got, except Dion say it and they don't. I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Dion does not.
Dion is the greatest football player ever for a reason. It's mentality. They got a mentality, bro, that that it's hard for very few to understand. And Dion said it best. Don't let my mentality, what he said, don't let my mentality hurt your confidence or something like that. That's what happens with people at that level, dog. Like, they think so much about themselves that it often come across as arrogant, as, do you think you better than me? And
my point is, though, he has that drive. My point is, all those guys had this certain type of drive. He is super driven in his field of battle, which happens to be a woman arena where I get lost with him is the riffs with these women. Like, you know what I'm saying? That he was, this ain't the first tantrum he's thrown, is my point.
But he not beefing with women. And Dion thing was, don't allow my confidence to offend your insecurity. That's what they all got.
Yeah.
That, like, the aura that they got will come off. And if you're insecure as a man, now here's the thing. I gotta give him a little break, Tito. He's not beef. It's not like he's in the NBA picking fights with women basketball. He's in women basketball. So naturally, it's kind of like, communities, and I hate to take it here, but when they say black on black crime and white on white crime, you oftentimes get in the spats with people you're around. He's in women's basketball. His spats are not going to be with college basketball, men's basketball coaches or NBA basketball coaches. His spats is going to be with his fellow coaches, which happen to be predominantly women. That's the only Gino has never been pushed to the brink by a male women's basketball coach. There has not been a male in women's basketball that has challenged Gino the way that Pat Summitt or Dawn has, right? Yeah. And so his spats is naturally going to be with women and powerful women, because the women that's going to, if you're going to contend with UConn, you're going to be a powerful woman, bro. You ain't going to be no weak woman contending with UConn. But I tell you this, Dawn got so much class that he lucky because an NBA coach wouldn't have handled it with that much class.
Well, no, here's the difference, though. Dawn, unlike Gino, was a superior player in her field of battle. You know what I'm saying? She's one of the few, and I believe she's a Hall of Fame woman pro basketball player and college basketball player. She's one of the few players that transition to being a dominant coach. Dawn Staley.
Dawn, yeah. Well, typically players aren't good. But here's the thing.
Of course, she's going to handle it. What I'm saying is she handled it with class and dignity because she is a classy woman coach. You know what I'm saying? She is of the highest caliber. So she handled it as without emotion. She handled it as professionally as she could. I don't think Gino.
Well, Gino was black woman.
Right, Gino was never that type of competitor.
He didn't have the leverage.
Gino was never that type of competitor to take them highs and lows like that. I mean, dude, she snapped his undefeated. Part of that shit is he blew the perfect season. Bro, how lost to bring up. You know how lost. Hey,
JoJo, just real quick, JoJo, I agree that no man should have. Listen, he shouldn't have done what he done. But when I saw it, I was like, yo, bro, that's a lady. Like, you actually trying to pull away and go. Like, I wonder in my brain, what would he have done had they not grabbed him when he snatched away? Like, what was you going to go do to Dawn? Like, were you going to go over there?
In both cases, I want to be clear. I want to be clear.
Like, he's what? Like, to me, that's wild.
I want to be clear. Let me ask you, everybody, something. What we saw both UConn coaches do in the Final Four, where Hurley headbutting the referee, and the way Gino asked, how many of y'all think if it was a minority that did that, would we still have our jobs on Monday morning? Would we still have our jobs on Monday morning? If we acted the way Danny Hurley did and the way Gino did in the heat of the moment, do we still have our jobs on Monday morning?
Yes.
Okay,
Tito, John Thompson would have had his job at Georgetown.
No, he wouldn't have.
John Thompson, Bro, you forgot John Thompson?
Bro, we seen people get fired for less.
You're too young to remember John Thompson.
I remember John Thompson. Bro, come on, bro.
You might be too young to remember John Thompson.
Who was on those teams John Thompson coach? I run you the starting five.
I'm a Syracuse fan. John Thompson used to play me every Saturday, bro.
Who was the starting five for Georgetown that year?
Me,
who was the starting five with you?
KO. We used to go to the park and play the Georgetown-Syracuse game. So I know about John Thompson. My point to you, I wasn't a Georgetown fan, so don't ask me. I could tell you about Billy Owens and the Syracuse Orangemen that played against him, and you may not know Billy Owens.
I know who Billy Owens, number 30 from Syracuse.
Billy Owens. And Stevens and all of them with the left.
Yes,
they're my favorite teams. But here's my point. My point is, if you had, in order for a coach, a minority coach, to have gotten away with it, you would have had to be overly successful.
Well, look what, like, somebody made a good point. Juwan Howard didn't do nothing nowhere near what Hurley or Gino did.
But guess what? Juwan Howard ain't win chips. Juwan Howard wasn't winning them championships. I'm not standing behind you when you acting up and losing. When you're winning, people always give you a lot more leverage. You get that rope is a lot longer when you're winning, bro, than versus you when you're losing. When you're losing, people don't got time. They already kind of don't want, it ain't same thing in you football, bro. When you losing, that string is short, dog. It's real. When you losing in Bell City and you went 0-8, when you act a fool, Tito is like, bro, you're out of here. When you just won a natty and you come back to Bell City and act a fool, Tito like, you got one more shot, bro. It's different when you win it, dog. It is.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't think, I stand on what I said. I don't think no two other people could have got away with doing what them cats did last weekend or the weekend before.
Well, you also got to remember, both of them are national championship coaches. And at the highest
of yes, I get it.
And
I
so,
understand that point.
bro, we saw Calipari come back from some wild stuff.
Yeah, Rick Pitino.
Like, when you're good, people will deal with you, dog. When you produce, people will deal with you. I'm not arguing
that point. I just, again, I don't think any of us could have got
the headbutt was wild. The ref didn't even give him a tap.
Yeah. No, the game was over. The game was over, but he squared up on him. Like, he's another dude I've been researching. He's another dude. He's another dude that's borderline. No, he's borderline. There's something wrong with him. There's something wrong with Danny Hurley. He's another dude, bro. He's one of them driven dudes. There's something fucking wrong. There's something wrong with him, dog.
Yo, he acts crazy. No, he acts crazy.
It ain't all clicking up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, no,
it ain't all clicking up there.
Yo, I be watching him on the sideline. He be on his tongue guy. He be like, he be wild.
He from Jersey City. The cats forget they from Jersey City. Them cats from Jersey City. That ain't no sweet place, dog. Them cats grew up in Jersey City.
Let's read Matthew Kennedy.
Hold on, Kennedy.
Let's get it real. Gino is Bobby Knight is in Bobby Knight territory. And the argument is that we will never get the longevity to get the benefit of the doubt. Gino's resume has another asterisk next to it because of this punk move and the fake apology. And he didn't headbutt him as much as Rub has. No, he headbutted him, Kennedy. Come on, bro. Come on. He walked up to that man. If I put my forehead on your forehead and you don't know I'm going to do it, it's a headbutt. Because it ain't like Tito going to stand there and let me gently mush it against him. That was a headbutt. It may not have been a headbutt, but it was a headbutt.
He nudged him, bro. He nudged him. He's totally, what she say? He got the he got the ism, Tito. He got that shit with him. He do. He got it with him.
Yeah, he looks like it's crazy. All right, so Tito, we talk all the time about how you football coaches transition into high school and can they be successful? Before I bring, have you seen a youth football coach be successful transition into high school yet?
Hold on, let me think. Yes, Steve Christie from Monroe Youth, who had the not only what was it? He had a slogan with his team. With the line, Steve Christie had an undefeated stretch with a team from 4th grade the 8th grade. Everybody knows who Christie is. Those of us in
And
the
then he
youth
went
world,
on to high school and with that
yeah,
same
he
team.
just won a state championship last year. He just won one with Monroe, with Massac Monroe, Steve Christie. And now he just became the head coach at Fairfield Ludlow. He's the only one I ever see transition. That he used to have the website 50-0 back in the day. And we are the Lions. He had a whole YouTube campaign before it was even popular with his team. And he had, again, he was a coach that had a system out there. But he transitioned from the youth game as a dominant coach to being a dominant coach at high school.
I say that to say, Tino,
and he won 2 or 3 high school state championships in the last 5 years since he's been the head coach. He knocked off Windsor a couple years ago, and they just won it. They just won it this year. It might have been back to back, or he won 2 out of the last 3.
I say all of that to say, we're about to introduce Coach Shannon, who y'all know went to nationals the last 4 years from Manchester Redhawks, and he is now the head coach of the Manchester Redhawks high school team. So Shannon, welcome aboard, brother. Congratulations on the position.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate the love, bro.
What's going on?
Anytime. So
what's going on, Tito?
How many years did you how many years did you go down to nationals? I don't know why it's still clapping. It's wild. Y'all still hear the clapping?
No, stop. No, keep just doing it.
I hear it. Damn, Janet, what you making my computer want to keep clapping. This is crazy. This is crazy. I know, that's wild. Yo, so Shannon, talk to me. How many years did you coach in Manchester, and how many times you been on the nationals?
I coached 6 years there, and we've been in nationals the last 4 years straight.
Yeah. Where did you coach? Did you coach high school before that? Before you came to the youth world? Or I think I heard you had a football pedigree. What did you do before getting to Manchester and coaching? Did you coach before somewhere?
Yeah, so the last 2 years I coached high school. I coached Avon, and then I coached at East Catholic this past year on the defensive side of the ball. So those are my 2 years of high school experience as far as a coach. So last 2 years I did both. The last 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you
my bad.
You play college football, right? You played college football?
Yeah, I played college and pro.
Okay.
Where'd you play college at?
I played at UMass.
Oh, okay. What position?
Safety.
And at pro?
I played with the Baltimore Ravens, and I played in the CFL with the Calgary St. Peters and the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, I thought that's what I said. I heard that. I heard that somewhere. I wanted people to know that.
So talk to me. What made you feel like it was you wanted to take on the role of high school, and you feel like you're ready to make that next jump?
Well, for one, like when I first started the youth coaching youth, I saw like a great deal of talent in the kids I was coaching. So this was all strategic, right? I knew eventually these boys would be going to high school. So like 2 years ago, like I own 2 businesses, right? So that's hard enough, be owning 2 businesses. I took a behavior tech job at the high school because I knew I had a better chance of getting hired if I was in the district coaching, in the system. So when I did that 2 years ago, I kind of knew like the coach there, he probably would be leaving soon. So people told me, hey, listen, if you want to be the high school coach and stay with these boys, like you better get in the district now. So when the time comes, you in there. So that's what I did. And, that's why I kept these Manchester boys together. And I try to keep the majority of my team, like 80, 90% Manchester kids. Because I know if I could groom them from, 10 years old until the time they, 16, 17, I know we could do something special in youth and at the high school level.
So I want to pause real quick because I want to I think that's game for the youth coaches. By the way, Rodney Myers is a Ravens fan, so he said I think that's game for the youth coaches. So let's talk about that. One thing that I think you just said that I want youth coaches that got that high school itch to understand is I do believe you got a better opportunity to get into coaching in the high school if you're in that district. So if I know I want to coach in Hartford, it probably makes sense for me to try to some way crack that shell of getting into the Hartford public school system area, you know. And so for youth coaches out there, I think he just dropped the gem that I want to make sure that they paid attention to. If you do have that itch, and if you have the time and you may want to start the transition into that district, because let's be honest, who you know as much as what you know matters when you're looking for these high school jobs. But I'll keep going. So you wanted to get in. Now, do you let's talk to me about your coaching staff. Do you already have your coaching staff already?
I do have my coaching staff. Actually, one of them is your brother.
Right.
Rocket's gonna be my coaching staff. So, but I knew coming in, right? Like they wasn't gonna allow me to bring the youth coaches, and those mostly was fathers anyway. So they was done. They felt like they did their part in developing these kids. But I went out and got guys like that had football pedigree, right? That was either Division I guys or coached in college or played in the league, right? Because a lot of times in high school, right? And I know for me, speaking from experience, when you talented, you really don't get coached. Like they just say, go out there and do your thing, score touchdowns, make tackles because you're just super talented. Yep. But I know, like, if you bring guys in that's been to a high level where they've been really coached, and they could bring that to these kids and teach them the fundamentals and what it's really like to be coached, right? When I'm talking about coach, I mean like when the guards pull, the linebackers going with the guards pulling. When the tackle block down, my DN is he squeezing wrong shoulder and making it spill, right? When the linemen leave, are my D tackles just running to the quarterback, or they retreat and follow the lineman because they know it's screen, right? That's really being coached, right? Even like when you playing, as a defensive back, like I played DB, but I also brought a guy in who played at Penn State, who was a 4-star recruit, right?
By the way, he played for the Hartford Hurricane. I just want to put out there that he's talking about somebody, a 4-star recruit that went to Penn State that he took personally. It came from the pro. Keep going.
Yeah, he really liked that. He liked that. But like when we talking man-to-man technique, right? Are we really teaching man how they teach it at the Division I level and the pro level? Or are we just saying, go out there and cover this guy because you just more athletic than him, right? Because a lot of these kids do got aspirations to play at the next level, right? So are we getting them ready to go to the next level, athletically and academically, right? So I'm bringing in a culture where it's like, I don't even remember high school football, right? I played so many games in college and the pros where it's like, that's all I know as far as the structure, the coaching, the film, the academics, the study, all that good stuff. So I'm bringing that culture to Manchester high school. Not to say they wasn't, but I'm doing it my way, the only way I know how to do it, right? So they get high-level coaching, but they also get high-character guys that really know what they're doing. And, like, I feel like the talent level in Manchester, there's no shortage. Like, it's extreme. It's a lot of talent around here. But, like, the discipline, right, the accountability, the structure, do they have that? Are they lacking that? And it's like, I know what with myself and the guys I'm bringing in, they're going to bring that to the table for these kids, right? They're going to get a style of coaching that they probably never had before. When you're talking about the attention to details, like they really going to know how to play this game at a high level. Right now, we might get, a team might have better athletes or better players, but we're going to be in a position to make the play.
Let me stop you. Very few, because obviously I've been following the high school scene for a long time. Manchester always looks crazy coming off the bus. The problem has always been with the high school, the structure that was in place. They've never had a structured program. Like when you look at them, they look crazy, ability-wise. They look crazy. But then when you watch them play, it's almost like that old saying, looks like Tarzan but plays like Jane. That's when you see Manchester, that's what I've always gathered from them. And they've had some stellar ball players come through there. They've had some dudes come through there that's just crazy looking. This crazy looking. It makes no sense that they haven't made a playoff run in the last 20 years. When's the last time Manchester's made the playoffs? I bet you it's been 30 years in football.
Well, they made it 23 and 24.
Oh, the playoffs?
Yeah, they did. They got blown out both games. They got blown out. But in double L now, you could go 5-5, 6-4 and get in.
Right.
Right. So it's not like they was 9-1, 10-0, where it's like, yo, they a team to be reckoned with.
Bro, when I was in high school, one loss would keep you out.
You
when
out.
I was only taking the top 4. One loss
You
would
out.
get you out.
We went 9-1, didn't get in. Right. So that's the difference now. But like you said, like I'm not here to bash the other coaching staff and what they did. But if you saying that, Tito, you're not the only one feeling like that.
Yeah.
Right? Your observation, that means other people's observation was probably similar to yours, right?
Yeah.
So my thing now is, how do we get it to be a powerhouse like a Windsor, a Greenwich, a Staples, a Darien, a Southington? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know the answer to that.
I know the answer to that. And I had my first team meeting today. And when I tell you them kids looked at me like they saw a ghost, it was crazy. And I told them, man, listen, it's structured, mandatory study hall, mandatory lifts, the disrespect, I'm not tolerating none of that to faculty, staff, anything, right? But all that comes full circle when you're talking about building a culture. So for me, I told them, listen, y'all was 2-8 last year, and it's not by accident, right? Because the way you act off the field, how you perform in the classroom, all that shit spirals back to discipline, right? And they come full circle. So I said, the way y'all in the hallway, I've been in the hallways with them. I see what's going on. The way y'all in the hallways, the way y'all treating these teachers, I said, these other teams came on Friday night and treated y'all the same way.
True.
Beat y'all down and disrespected y'all. And I said, that's karma. Right? When you're doing things the right way, you where you're supposed to be, you early, not on time, right? All that stuff translates into the game, right? I said, so when we start winning here, it's not an accident, right? You got to be a well-rounded person altogether. On top of that, with the portal now, I told him, I said, listen, with the portal now, they not recruiting high school kids anyway. So don't give them a reason with bad grades not to even look at you, whether it's D1, D2, or D3. It don't matter.
I think your greatest
They'll get eliminated. What they don't understand
I think your greatest
they'll
challenge
get eliminated because of grades.
I think your greatest challenge it's not going to get eliminated. They won't even have a shot at. I work at a college. Right. It's not an elimination process. It's just when you submit your application, admission. Forget about the coach. Admission is not going to even get you to the point where the coach could even entertain you. But I think your greatest challenge is this. I think your greatest challenge is changing the culture, which is everything you're saying, but I'm going to just wrap it up in a word. Changing the culture of accountability. I'm responsible for not squeezing that gap. I'm responsible for not recognizing the screen. I'm responsible for cursing my teacher out. And when I do it, I should be held responsible. And I understand that when Coach Shannon or the coaching staff holds me responsible for my actions, I don't lash back out. I hold myself accountable. I think that to me is the first thing when I thought about if I ever was to go to high school, the first thing I thought about was culture and accountability. And for me, I did see Manchester last year. I think they were way talented. They were much more talented than the 2-8 team last year.
For sure.
My own opinion. And I went to almost all the games because my daughter cheered. So I was present. I was there. I saw games in which I thought that they should have won and they didn't. Again, I'm not blaming no one. I just know that they should have won the game. They had the talent. But again, the discipline, it lacked. Who's responsible? Well, everything starts at the top. I don't care who you are. And you run businesses, bro. If the books ain't right, ain't nobody going to come and say, hey, I need to talk to your third best employee about that. That's not how it works. Right? They need to talk to you. And so regardless of who's responsible, to me, there was a lack of accountability. I saw kids personally get upset and coach scan, get on the field, and the kid walks. Because little things like that for me watching back here, being a coach, like, yo, and some of the players I know personally, and I know their attitude. So I know what he's doing because he did it to me before. You know what I'm saying? And so I think to me, that's your biggest hurdle. So let me ask you this. If there was one thing after year one you want to be able to look back and say you accomplished, what would it be? So next year, it's January. December just passed, and I say, reflect on your season. If you could have that sentence be anything, what would you want it to be?
For me, it would be, did you change the culture? Did I change the culture? That's my biggest thing, right? Because like you said, it's not the talent, right? It's the culture, right? And I know I've been around great coaches. I've been around Hall of Fame coaches. I've been around Pro Bowl players. I've been around Hall of Fame players. I've been around national championship coaches. I've been around Super Bowl winning coaches. Everywhere I've been, it was the culture that had us have success, right? So I'm gonna look back at it like that, right? Did these kids buy? Was I able to transform these kids and conform these kids into what I want this culture to be, right? And that's my biggest thing, because I know when it comes to X's and O's, I got myself and I got a great staff behind me, right? But that's not what's gonna win us games. Is the culture gonna change, right? Are we late to meetings?
Right.
Right? Or are we early? Are we putting in the extra work when I'm not watching? Or are we going on playing video games?
Are we showing up every day?
Are we showing up every day?
Every day.
Are we making excuses why we didn't lift today? Or are we coming to the lift? Are we making excuses why we didn't come to study hall? Or are we going to study hall and locking in and doing what we need to do? Right? So I know how to build a culture, right? And you got to think too. When I joined the Manchester Pop Warner program, right? 2-3 wins was oh my God, we did a great job. Yeah. I was like, nah, I'm not for this. I'm not doing this. So I mean, y'all, I know Phil, you know Daryl Thomas. Yep. He's the president now of Manchester Pop Warner.
Yeah.
He was older than me. So when I got to UMass, he was already gone, but he was a mentor to me since the time I was 17 till now. You know what I'm saying? So I said, D, I need your help. Like, I want to change the culture and make it what it is. And I had help of, a Calvin Harris and another guy, Shane, our guy. But they saw the vision and they knew what it took to change the culture. If you would have said to me back in 2019 that Manchester 12U would beat Hartford Hurricanes 12U, probably one of the most talented teams to come through New England, and I don't know how long. If you would have told me that back in 2019, somebody probably would have slapped you. Like, wake up, bro. That's not happening. But we was able to change the culture, right? And as talented as that team was, I feel like we was more disciplined, right? And that's what propelled us to win the game. It wasn't the talent.
Oh, you also,
I think they have more talent than us.
You're one of the few guys that know what you're doing out there, too. Like, I'm going to be real. You're one of the few guys that know what you're doing. Because there's not a whole bunch out there that know what they're doing. So that's part of it, too. You know what I mean?
And I'm going against the coach, Speedo. I'm going against a coach that knew what he was doing. Like, Larry Myers, bro, I'm telling you, man, that's one coach when I played against, I knew he was going to do his homework. And he was going to study his. He had games with his hat low on the other side of the field. He think nobody see him. But I knew he was going to do his homework. Like, for instance, I don't know if I remember back in 2011, we played New Britain, right? We had no business winning that game. They was big as hell up front. And we started cutting them. And people are like, oh, you can't cut. They don't know the rules, but, people think they just be talking. They be chatting. But inside the tackle box, you can cut immediately.
You meant 2021 or 2011?
2023. 11 years.
11 years. Okay.
And we cut them down inside the tackle box. And somebody came on the blog and was like, oh, they can't be doing that. And Larry Myers was like, nah, that's perfectly legal. And we played y'all like 2-3 weeks later. And he backed this D line up a yard, knowing that now you can't cut because it's not immediate.
Not immediate.
You see what I'm saying? So when you playing against a guy like that who know what he's doing, right, you got to be sharp. Even a guy like Ali, who's now coaching high school, he was very sharp at what he was doing, right? So I feel like those two guys, like for me, those two guys were the best I coached against. And for me, like, I know Larry Myers, like, he's from New London, right?
Yeah.
Right?
London high school better. I don't know if he's from New London.
Well, he's from New London.
He is? Okay.
Okay, so them coaches over there, if they know like I know, you better get that man on your staff in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, he's coaching over there. I think he's doing they call it seniors.
Well, he's doing the Wellin City. Yeah, he's the coach.
Yeah, but the senior level, whatever that.
No, I'm talking about the high school.
Oh,
I'm talking about the high school.
I think he's with them at some capacity. I believe he's with
He
them at
should
some
be.
point.
He should be. Because one thing about him, he gonna do his homework. He gonna figure you out. You know what I'm saying? So I respect those guys for what they've done, but a lot of us youth coaches, only certain amount deserve to go to the next level because they know what they doing. Now, I'll tell y'all this. I told y'all a lot of the stuff I do is calculated, right? So I've been offered a job at Michigan. I've been offered a job at Penn State, Boston College, Jacksonville Jaguars. My quarterback from college is the head coach of Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen. I turned all these down to stay with these boys. Period. Because I know my opportunity. When you get to that level, I don't care if I won 100 games in high school. It's who you know. Right? They know me as a player and a person, what I did when I was with them and as a player, I'm a student of the game. So they gonna hire me just cause. You understand what I'm saying? Just because. But I turned all that down to stay with these boys because I know it's a greater purpose in what I'm doing. If I could send 10, 12 of these boys to college, regardless of division, and change their family dynamic, I'm all set. I'm good to go. There's no money that can equivalent to that, period.
So it's funny you say that because that was my next question. Like, what would equal success? We already answered it. What would success look like after these 5 years after coaching Manchester? But you just said it would be watching your kids go to college. So I'll move on. What CIAC? What league you in? What division? Talk to me.
We in the CCC and we in double L, and as far as classes. So we starting with the big dogs. So our schedule, they put us through the gauntlet. Like we got Darien, Windsor, New Britain, Glastonbury, Southington.
So West Haven,
West Haven,
Maloney, Glastonbury, Southington, Connor, Hall, New Britain, East Hartford was last year's last year games, and the 2 wins came from Trumbull and Connor last year, and then the rest, a lot of close games, but the rest were all losses. Before I let you go, let me ask you this: if I'm a kid and I'm moving into Manchester, and I'm just coming into Manchester, and I think I want to play football, and what's the one message you have for any kid thinking about playing for Manchester?
I mean, how old is the kid? Is he going to high school or is he a youth kid?
Let's say he's 15, sophomore, junior, in the middle. Like he not in his freshman year, but he's not a senior. So, but he's wondering, should I play Manchester football? What's the one thing that? Well, let's do this. Talk to me. Let's say he's going into high school. He's about to be a freshman. What's your message to him in the fall?
My message is this: do you want to be good or you want to be great? It's just that simple. If you want to be great, you want to learn, you want to go to the next level, whether it's an academic scholarship, athletic scholarship, even if it's D1, D2, D3, and you want to be coached, and you want to be held accountable, if you want to be part of a culture, then you come here, right? It ain't gonna be easy now.
Right.
I'm gonna put you through hell so we can get to heaven. It ain't gonna be easy, but I promise you, when it's all said and done, you're gonna thank me because I'm gonna prepare you when you leave here to be a man. Period.
So talk to me about the junior who played football, somewhat nice. He's moving from East Hartford or Groton or whatever. He's coming into Manchester, and he already is good. Same message or slightly different?
Same message, but at the same time, it's like, it's time to get you to the next level, right? I know you got all the talent in the world, but how bad do you really want to make it? Right? How bad do you really want to get a scholarship? Or how bad do you really want to go to college, right? I'm going to be able to tell by your work ethic and what you're doing off the field, right? But I promise you, I'm your biggest supporter, right? So when you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm your biggest promoter. I'm going to advocate for you. I'm going to call all the connects I got to make sure you get to where you want to go. Now, on the other hand, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm going to discipline you like a father would do his son, right? And if you make a mistake, I get it. You're a kid. You're gonna make mistakes. You make it twice, then you show me that's who you are. So now I got to go in a different direction. I got to handle it a different way. You understand? But I'm gonna be hard on you, but it's tough love, like a father would do. right? I love all these kids. I've had some of these kids since they were 7, 8 years old. So yeah, I want the best for you. But a kid like that is like, listen, where do you want to go with this thing? It's up to you.
This is my last words. Whenever I get a chance to talk to a high school coach, my biggest thing was, whenever you can, please put yourself in position. And I think high school coaches have a duty to make connections, to build their network. A high school coach that's just coaching kids up, to me, ain't doing enough. Just my opinion. I ain't a high school coach. I think they also have an extra duty, because youth football coaches have the duty to coach kids up. I think high school coaches is the next step. Coach kids up and have a network that when you can make a phone call, you should be able to make that phone call if it's needed. If Phil does everything Shannon says, if Phil come in the locker room and I'm a leader and I'm there 15 minutes early and leaving 15 minutes late, I haven't skipped nothing for 4 years. When I'm in position, the high school coach should be able to make that phone call. And if they can't, to me, then they also should be fired. Just coaching me for you isn't good enough. So I heard you just say that. Obviously, you already have a lot of connections. But all I ask is, bro, and I know you the type would do this, that if somebody do go through your system and they do it, man, make the phone calls. I know so many kids that came to my program that I talked to privately, and coaches didn't make the phone calls for them. Like, they didn't make the phone calls. And it's heartbreaking. And I want to say something, but who am I? Like, I'm nobody, so I can't say anything. But that it breaks my heart to talk to moms and dads and say, yo, he begged my son to come here. My son got there, he did everything, and he wouldn't make the call, or he couldn't make the call, or he didn't make the call. And it's like, damn, like, because that changed the trajectory of a kid's life, like you said.
Right. So my thing is this. Why are you doing it then? If you're a high school coach, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this if you're not trying to make a better life for these young boys, these young men?
But you
why are you doing it? Because you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid. You're not getting paid for a whole salary for your life. You're not getting paid 200 grand. You getting paid pennies. So why are you doing this?
Robbie just said, the energy y'all come with from the youth level is different, because you gave it your all when it was absolutely nothing on the line, and you still 6-hour days driving to Rhode Island to scout. You ain't even got to drive to Rhode Island no more. You were driving 2 hours to scout, bro. Like, paying people for film from 200 miles away, 2,000. Yo, Phil, you got to do number for the West Coast. Like, think about it. Like, think about the craziness of the youth game and how you do it from nothing but passion, because you can't get anything else out of it. Now you take that model to high school. A lot of them never did the youth. They never had to have a heart for the kids. They never had to care about a 7-year-old, and those 7-year-olds never spent the night over their house like probably every damn single one of these kids have been in your house, right? Yeah. They done ate at your grill. You done had to buy them, cleats because he done left his cleats, or buy a mouthpiece. Like, they never went through the vigor of the youth game. And so you come with a different level of passion than a lot of high school coaches, because they never had to do it. They show up and everything's there. You was there when you had to bring everything to the field to set up. I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to love not having to do it, but you come with a different mind. It's no different than somebody that come from the trenches and then they make it. That level of appreciation for what was down there, it's different. And if you were born as a millionaire and all you knew was billions and millions, the level of appreciation that you have and why you're doing it, to me, I think people that's on this listening to this podcast can hear it, because, and like Robbie said, it's a different level of passion when y'all come from here, because
it is.
And also, you saw these kids grow. A lot of them never saw the kids that they coach and grow, right? So your care from them might make you go above and beyond more than even what a high school require, because of the passion I got for these group of kids that I'm coaching. And not only the ones you coach, everybody with that Red Hawk uniform on, because they're going to get Coach Shannon as holistic. They're not going to get, I get Coach Shannon from the Red Hawks youth to high school. Everybody's getting the Coach Shannon the passionate one that came from you. And so I think I think more high schools would be smarter to tap into youth programs. Obviously, certain ones, like you said, right? But to ones that really have the knowledge, number one, but also listen to the passion that they come with, because I think it could change a lot of high school programs around. I'll let you get the last word, brother.
So for me, right, Phil and Tito, for me, it's like, what am I getting out of this financially or ego-wise?
The finances is none. I can tell you that.
Nothing. What am I getting out of this ego-wise? Because if I want to stroke my ego, I'll just Google myself.
True.
So what am I getting out of this ego? I'm not getting nothing. There's nothing about this that's going to give. I will never be a better coach than I was as a player. So what am I getting out of this with my ego? Nothing. The only reason why I'm doing this is for these kids. Right? My thing is, when you've been to where I've been to as far as the level of football, and you're not a selfish person, and you genuinely care about other people, I want these kids to be better than me. I want to give them the same opportunities I had, because I had people in my corner that did that for me. If those people wasn't there, you wouldn't even know me right now. Right? So that's my only purpose. There's nothing about what I'm doing right now that's going to stroke my ego or is going to help me financially, where I'm like, damn, I'm good now. So you got to ask yourself, why am I really doing this? I had a plan back in 2019 what I was going to do. Ask anybody that mentioned the program. Everybody in the town, I'm getting crazy support because they knew this was my goal anyway. Yeah. They knew exactly what I was trying to build over here, period.
Right.
So that's my whole thing. I'll leave it at that, but like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this for my ego. I damn sure not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the kid. If I could change these kids' life in any way, shape, or form, bro, I'm good.
Well,
I'm good, because 5 years from now, 6 years from now, I could easily go get a D1 job.
Yeah. I mean, look, you could coach the 80s,
so,
bro. Like, let's be real. Yo, listen, thanks for coming on. You do got a good group of kids over there. A lot of them, I know personally because they played for me. Well, not a lot, but some. And some I know just because I know the fathers, or I know the kids. I'll be at the games, obviously. My daughter be there. And, brother, my brother coach. So I'm, now I got to be locked in, like double whammy. Like, my daughter and my brother are locked in. I got to be careful about wearing too much Manchester red. But thanks for coming on, brother.
Nah, do what you got to do.
If there's anything you could,
I appreciate y'all having me, man. Tito, I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, well, good piece of the guys, man. Good luck over there. I know it's not gonna be
appreciate
easy
y'all,
road.
man.
You got it. You got it.
Nope. Yeah. Appreciate y'all, man. I really do, man. Thank y'all for having me on, man. All right, bro.
Anytime. Peace. So yeah, Tito, I think it's dope when we see that transition. We know Shannon from youth football for a while, and now he gets to jump up.
He gets in the biggest stage.
And that's a big opportunity. Manchester's not a little school. That's a big opportunity.
Double L school, bro. Like Double L, listen, there's a lot of great programs below Double L. But winning Double L is like winning the heavyweight title of the world, bro. All them other shits, they don't add up. You get what I'm saying? They don't add up. The Double L is always is the king that runs the roost. But it's a dope opportunity. I see he got Rocket out the, he got Rocket off the shelf.
Yeah. Listen, I knew he was going to coach. He told me about it. I was happy for him. That's good. He got a lot to give back. He still want to freaking play. If you ask him, he probably going to be out there with a uniform on. Coach going to have to tell him, you can't be out here with no uniform on. You're not my starting quarterback. But, I think it was dope. I think it was good to talk. Maybe we should do this more often, man, where we bring on youth football coaches that transition to high school.
Notice, though, over the last,
I think that there's gems that these coaches that transition to high school can give the youth coaches with aspirations to go to high school. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of youth coaches that have that aspiration, dog.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is you're seeing more of these high schools dip into the youth level for coaches because there's clearly, I don't know what's going on up there, but you see it
I know what's
happening
going
more.
on up there. I know what's going on. You can hear when you talk to a person like Shannon, we could probably bring on 90% of high school coaches who gonna tell us they care about their kids. It won't sound as authentic as it just sounded with having a real coach from you.
Bro, they don't care. We've had these arguments with other varsity coaches.
But when they say they care, it's different.
We've had blowouts with them because they think what they do is so hard. It's really not. You just got to care a little. And talking to Shannon and listening to him, he clearly cares. Like, you have to care. You have to care about the kids. You have to care about the community. You have to be a part of the community. I don't think all the times we get these high school coaches that really care. Like, for instance, let's just look at your own situation. How many times high school coaches come through your field? Now, you have one of the biggest, baddest programs in New England. How many? Usually we get coaches from outside of Hartford to come through.
Yeah. Yep.
How many cats from Hartford come through? Let's keep it a buck. How many cats from Hartford come through the big house?
None. No Hartford coaches come and check us out. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker, Tito. You know how many times I've had coaches, and I'm not gonna say no names because I don't want, from other surrounding towns at the gate. Let me come in. And then I get Hartford coaches going, yo, why you sending your kids over there? And here's the problem. High school only coaches don't understand relationships.
They don't.
Because they're not forced to have a relationship with the family. In youth football, you are forced to have relationships, bro.
Well, you're also forced.
And you're better off having relationships.
You're also forced to have to learn how to deal with people. You don't get to hide behind administration. You don't get to hide behind the athletic director.
True.
You walk to your car, you're gonna walk to the peoples, and you gotta know how to handle yourself. You don't get to hide in the locker room when shit's hot. Like, you just don't. Now, I know there was coaches saying in high school you ain't always safe. Listen, the high school if it's a real legitimate program, you're never getting to talk to the head coach. Trust me. I went through legitimate programs growing up. You couldn't get to the head coaches. There was no meetings with the parents. When it has a true structure, a true winning culture, you don't get to talk to the coaches. You may do that in one of these ragtag programs, but when you have a legitimate program that is structured legitimately with a winning culture, you ain't getting a conversation with the coach. I don't care who you are or who your kid is. They don't care. You're a number at that point. You're either going to play by the system's rules or you're out. You get what I'm saying? That's how it goes in a winning culture.
No, listen, I agree. I agree. And I do think that like I said, it would behoove high schools to really start to transition in some youth football coaches into their program. Why? Stop asking for a pipeline and create one. See, one thing I despise from high school coaches is they look at the Hurricanes program, they look at the talent, and they want me to give them the kid. Because, I do agree with this. I would say 99% of the Hartford Hurricane families do trust me, right? I've built that trust. I think, because I don't lie to them. I'll tell them. I don't always tell them everybody what they want to hear, but I'll be honest with you, right? And so I do think they trust me. No, they ain't always going to send their kid to where I say, but if I sat with most parents and I gave them a vision, I think most of them would actually take heed or at least take a real good listen to that vision. But I think it's unfair for coaches to ask me to put kids and parents and their sports vision in their hands when they haven't been willing to do anything to garner that kid's respect. Kids have options today, Tito. You can say what you want. If you're in the agriculture program, you might be able to go to Windsor. You maybe could go to Bloomfield. Probably could go to Manchester. You could go to Hartford. Then it is no longer, you live on the left side of this light pole on Granby Street, so you have to go to this school. That's not the game no more. So guess what? High school coaches, you got to get up off your, and you got to get up, and get something. Like
you said it simply, bro. It's about building relationships, and we know there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between us and them. Like I said, we could name how many blowouts we done had with these head coaches that try to come at us about the All-Star game, this, and that. Meanwhile, you're doing nothing to give your
Nothing.
kids opportunities. Nothing to give them other opportunities. So,
Well, one
you know
coach
how
was
I feel
honest
about
with
it.
us, Tito, and said, "You're
And
trying
I'm
to take
not
our
saying-
talent and give it to the prep schools."
I'm not saying all these high school coaches is bad. I'm not saying
No,
there's
there's some great
dudes.
coaches out there.
I know some great dudes. Some dudes I highly respect. But I also know there's a bunch of bitch ass niggas up there. Like, I also know that. And it ain't
In
always
other
the
words,
best cat.
they're lousy
It ain't.
coaches.
Nah, I'm saying what it is. There's
We're
politics involved in it.
trying to transition our language. You just
I'm
check
not
me
transiting. Not when it comes to that, because I know these cats. I see these cats. I know who they are.
trying.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of bitch ass niggas up there. I'm gonna say it again. Like, that's just a fact. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, because we know we've had these conversations that they don't really care. They're there
bleep
for
it
a
out
check.
so we don't get flagged on social media, please.
They don't make
the phone call. Like I said, they don't make the phone call.
And if they don't like the parent, or if they don't like the parent, or if they feel the kid has a character flaw, they'll dub them. They'll dub them. No, we don't got no work to do. See, this is the difference. I'm a Gen Z baby. I'm not from the feminine era. There's a difference. I'm a masculine male, and I'm gonna say what the fuck I please when I want to say it. I'm gonna say that's the difference.
I need a beat button so we don't get flagged on. Yo, if y'all flag us on social media, y'all weak. Don't do it. We on YouTube. You can curse on YouTube, right? It'd be curse words on YouTube, right?
Whether we can or can't, they'll just blurt it or they'll just take it down.
No. You know, people be getting at us, bro. But there anything to take us down,
bro. Because we've had these blowouts. We've had these blowouts.
Yo, Tito, you remember? I don't want to say his name. I actually don't know his name. We had a long conversation with a coach. And he kept telling us, well, y'all taking our players and y'all introducing our talent to other prep schools and private schools. And I'm like, I never thought about it that there are high school coaches that really would not want their kid to go get a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 private or prep school education because they don't want to lose the talent. A coach said that, Tito.
The talent they're going to do nothing with.
And I was saying to myself, yo, do you hear what you saying? He was like, yeah, I don't feel bad about saying it at all. Like, I have a job to do as well. And I was like, you know what? I never thought that. That's why I said to Shannon, that's why I said to him, yo, please, if you can, make the call. Like I want nothing else from any high school coach I'm cool with or that I know is, well, make the call for these kids. Like, it could save a kid life because you made the call. A kid could probably be ready to kill somebody at your school and playing football, but you make the call and he go to the prep school or the private school that Tito helps him get in. And you know what? With a new set of friends, and we know this, Tito, you surround yourself with different people, a whole different mindset come about. Me and you have talked about that personally in our life. When you surround yourself by different people, you do different things.
You grow.
And sometimes people don't make the call for talent, not knowing they keeping a kid in a corrupt culture. And so no matter the talent, nothing's going to happen with that kid. And so
we've seen it 1,000 times. The people that listen, right? Like, there's people that generally come to me for advice. The people that listen are on the right path. The people that think that they know better than me, a lot of times these kids get to their sophomore year and they're no longer playing. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Like, where you choose for your kid to go is everything as the parent. Like, you have to be completely involved in that process, and you got to kill the noise. You can't worry about friendships. You can't worry about who their friends are. If sports, or let's say this is a football show, if football is what you want to do, as the parent, you have to guide your child because your kid does not know better than you. You can't worry about his feelings. You can't worry about how he feels. If you have to make the boy, especially when it comes to high school, you have to make the right choice. If football is what you want to do, it's hard enough. It's hard enough. It's hard enough to navigate this space in the current status of the space. You as the parent have to make the choice. You cannot let your kid make the choice. Forget his feelings. You cannot let you have to
Let me relate it to
the
youth
choice.
football now. Let me bring it holistically to youth, Tito. To the youth parents out there, your pedigree of what Tito's talking about, it started at youth. Now, Tito, we're not going to say names, but we always talk about a kid who father brought him to damn near every single program in New England to win. And then he tried it in college because that was his pedigree. Parents, I'm not saying don't switch programs when you genuinely see something wrong or when you want better for your son. What I'm saying is, don't be switching.
You cannot let him face adversity. You can't hide him from having to compete. What we have today is parents that are unwilling to let their kids fail. But what I hate to tell you,
or compete,
as a person that plays sports at a
even
high
if
level,
they win,
all the growth is in the failure. You get what I'm saying?
Or at least in the competition, even if they win the competition, they have to compete.
All the lessons are in the failure. There's way too many parents that get involved in their kids' career, youth, high school, whatever, because they are scared to let their kids compete. Your kid is not always going to be the best, and he may be the best in your eyes, but a coach may not see it, and that's okay. He's got to prove to that coach that he is the best, but we don't allow kids to do that no more.
Tito, we have parents tell us they don't want to try out for the All-Star game because I know my son ain't going to make it.
Bro, I got a call yesterday. Say them words with me,
word. I don't want to try out for the All-Star game because I know my son ain't going to make it.
We get calls all the time, people trying to negotiate head coaching spots with us based on what they got going on. That don't work with this All-Star game. That don't work with me. That don't work with Phil. There's a process. We stick to the process. You don't get to talk us in to what you think is best for you and your kids. It's not how it works. That's not how our All-Star game has never worked. When it was 860,
there's going to be kids that's going to come out and want the opportunity to play in front of a crowd, have fun. And what I despise most of all about the All-Star game is when people choose not to play, but then they take the social media, or I hear them on the sideline going, well, that's not the best 25 from Connecticut. I know a lot of kids that didn't play.
Well,
to me, that's the
25 that were willing. That was the 25 that were willing.
They're the best 25 because you know something about being the best, Tito. Like he just said, the best is not about talent. It's about mindset and what is about accountability. Those kids that went to try out, Tito, they were willing to hold themselves accountable to whatever Tito decided. If Tito chooses not to pick me, cool. Right? And so the ones that stay off to the sideline and they do nothing more, Tito, than show up to the game and they got all the answers. Right? Oh, I wish I would have played because I would have did this. Or the parents is saying that. Like, I get tired of hearing that. Right? Don't not play and then tell us those are not the best 25. Yes, they are. Because football is about mindset more to me than it is physical. I think what you just said, Tito, the greatest athletes and the greatest sports figures in the world, they don't think like regular people, dog.
They don't.
They just don't think. Listen to their speeches. Listen to Nick Saban's speeches. Listen to Deion's speeches. He don't speak. He don't do much speeches.
Listen to Kobe.
Listen to Kobe. You know, or get his book, or listen to Kobe. Kobe would make you think that he's almost insane. 100 jump shots a day.
Another big problem in the space today, and I'm gonna say this because I know over the last couple of years I've seen it everywhere. Everybody wants to be Mamba mentality, but very few people show up every day. Part of this thing over time is showing up every day and giving it your all. We 100%. Don't allow that. Now, the parents coddle these kids to a point that if they're not feeling good, oh, it's okay to miss practice today. No, it's not. Because you just missed 2 hours today where you could have got 1% better. It's not okay ever to miss practice. If football is what you want to do, the ultimate separator with playing this game is how you practice. Because practice
we said it
4 times more than you play.
I was just about to say it.
You practice 4
Steve,
times more
Oliver,
than you play.
You right, bro. This stuff all applies to coaches too. You know, you coaches that you know, me, Tito, and Shannon was talking about those that want to transition to high school. Some of you coaches don't show up to practice on time
every day.
Some of y'all don't show up with practice plans, bro.
Bro, There's even
some of
dudes
y'all
at high
show
school
up
as
and
well.
make kids run laps while y'all sit there
Right.
and come up
Or you
with your
didn't come into
plan
practice and
because
running
you don't have
plays.
you had all day, you didn't know what to do.
Yeah, you come to practice, you come late, like, dude, it's a joke, bro. But Shannon, there's a couple good ones out there. Like I said, there ain't a whole bunch. There's a lot more bad than good, but there is a handful of us, you know what I'm saying, that really, really give it their all,
Yeah.
show up every day, on time, accountable for our actions, trying to set a culture to set positive reinforcement. But
See, yo,
a lot
I
of
say
us,
real shit that people not willing to say. Just because you're winning don't mean that you're a great coach. Now, I don't mean if you're losing, you're coaching kids up. I hate that thing too. But I'll give you an example, Tito. And most coaches won't tell you this, but I'll tell you this. I think I told you this before. There has been seasons, Tito, that I've won the championship, went to regionals and all that, and I was just so much better than everybody at my team, meaning. They were just so much better than everybody that probably I didn't have to do as much coaching as I did. I could have probably done 30% of the coaching, Tito. And I had teams that we would show up, Tito. They were scared to play us. They were physically scared. So, Tito, I did not have to coach. I'm going to tell you, one day, Tito, at a regional championship, I was eating chicken wings on the sideline while we were playing. This guys, I'm just being real with you. I'm just telling you, in my younger days, I was on the BS. Like, man, they sorry. Yo, order me some wings. I'm sitting there eating wings. Yo, you call the plays. Yo, quarterback, call the plays.
Yeah,
and why do I say that? I'm not saying that to say it was okay to be disrespectful, because now I think about that pretty petty, even though I didn't like the coach that I was going against when it happened. But my point to that is, just because you're winning don't mean that you're doing a great coaching job. On those days, Tito, I didn't coach well. I didn't put in much time coaching, bro. I'm keeping it real with you. I didn't. Now, there are times, Tito, and you know this as well, where I drove and I watched 30 hours of film and prepared like hell and overcame a hump that I couldn't overcome. It's though this stuff stands for coaches as well as the youth. And so it goes back to what I was saying to the parents. Parents, choose your program wisely. Don't stay in with a coach because you're in his town. Don't just stay with a coach because you're in his town. Give them the shot, though. They're in your town, give them a shot. But once Tito unloaded his clip, he show up every day and he don't got no footballs and they don't know what to do. So Tito ran plays for 2 hours. The kids know the plays, but they sorry. Kids go out there, I know all the plays, but I don't know how to play football. Nobody's teaching me how to play football. I'm just knowing how to run plays. There's a difference between what Shannon was just talking about, was learning. That's learning the football game. There's a difference between that and running a play. There's a lot of kids that can run a play. I can teach anybody to run a play, Tito. Any kid in the world, I can teach to run my plays, Tito. I'm just telling you, if I say, yo, Tito, block right, you just block all day for 2 hours. By the end of practice, Tito, you're probably going to know my play. But I never taught Tito how to block. So you know what you're going to do? You're going to block right. You're not going to make a block. You're going to block right. You're not going to make the block, though. I see that too much in youth football. I see too much of people knowing how to run plays, but don't know how to effectively execute the play because they're not teaching football.
Well, they don't know how to teach it in practice. That's the other part. They don't know how to isolate. Yeah. They don't know how to isolate the necessary techniques for what they're trying to accomplish, and that's a whole nother problem. But I want to answer what JB saying right here. Winning mindset are usually broken people. They don't know how to be average. Yes, I don't believe that's a broken mindset, though.
Yeah,
I believe that's conviction. I don't believe it's a broken mindset. I believe there's people that's so driven that they don't know how to be average. I think that, to me, is a better way to say it. I think there's people who are so obsessed on being successful that they don't know how to be average. And I think those that separate in any walk of life are people that are driven.
Yo, my biggest fear in life is failure.
Right, all of us.
I tell you every time
my
I see biggest fear in life is
what I tell you every time I see cats, every time I drive and I see cats looking out there for money, all I tell you is on the phone, yo, I just pray one day I'm never this dude. That's my biggest fear in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my biggest fear in life is not winning, not being the best when I'm competing with something. Coaches can't teach what they don't know. True, Chris.
I agree.
But
I
Chris,
agree.
then what is the coach's job when he don't know? You coach. What's the coach's job when he don't know? Right? But it's not about where you've been, right? So so like Chris, so talk to me. If I asked you to coach a
You might
quarterback,
want to tell the crowd the context of who you're talking to. A dude that's been.
so I mean, y'all can
amongst
look
you.
at this picture. This is Chris Baker. He played in the NFL, an extraordinary career. Jacksonville Jaguars, and for the home team, the Washington Commanders.
And the
now,
Bucks.
but he played for the Redskins.
He was with the
We're
Bucks
gonna
for
talk
a
about
while.
his Redskins career. Forget about them. He actually played with his boy from Windsor, right? And so,
Yeah.
Chris, I do want to say, I guess what I was trying to get at, Chris, was then go educate yourself like we do everything else in life. When Tito get a new job, and Tito don't know his job, you know how Tito become the boss at his job? You educate yourself, right? You educate yourself, Tito. And when you educate yourself and you learn how to do something and you effectively keep on doing it and learning and educating yourself, now Tito got a PhD in it. But
And you got to show up. And he ain't played for Jacksonville. I was going to tell you he ain't played for Jacksonville.
He ain't played for the Jaguars?
No.
Who you played for? You came
Tampa
up
Bay,
here.
I just told you.
Tampa.
Bay,
You was in Florida. Tampa,
Bay,
my
bro.
bad. Yeah, Tampa Bay.
Tampa
My bad,
Bay.
bro. Tampa Bay. Yeah, he was in Florida. My bad. But like I think that I think look, Tito, I can coach any position in football. Not because I'm smarter than nobody else. Not because I'm smarter than nobody else. Because I'd be willing to learn. If Shannon gave me a job today, which I do not want to coach high school, Shannon. But if Shannon gave me a job today and said, Phil, I need you to coach my line, and I wanted to do it, by the season, Tito, I'll know all the line. I'll know everything about line I need to know as far as his system.
Listen, everything is out there. Nobody should be not knowledgeable.
You can learn anything today.
With YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter,
I love
Facebook.
this. I love doing this. I'm not one of them people that want to be around a bunch of people that don't know nothing. I'm not one of them people that want to coach with a bunch of people that don't know nothing, so I could be on the field and I know everything and I could tell everybody what to do. As I learned myself as a head coach, even as an offensive coordinator, whatever, I don't tell my defensive coordinators what to do. We may disagree and we may, coach and shit, but I want to coach with people that know what they're doing at this point. Know what you're doing. Go ahead and do it. Boom. I just need to know that I'm no longer doing that no more. I know Valencia. He called me out. Stop laughing at me.
Yo, but anyways, before we get off, though, I do want to shout out Cuz Matt Correa and his 12U Route 8 team that won last weekend. We need to shout out Henry Jackson of the Connecticut Supreme Intruders. His 10U won it in Atlantic City, and I think they all next week in Boston for Hunt's tournament. And also this weekend is the kickoff at NEYT for the 14-year-olds. Start the season off this weekend. A bunch of 14U games being played. Pride playing Rhode Island Warriors. I know our Bell City Broncos is in Chelsea, Mass versus the Bears to kick off the 2026 NEYT spring season. Oh, Matt 11, my bad.
And to finish it up, next week we are going to be announcing the head coaches to the Connecticut All-Star game. To the Connecticut All-Star teams. We're also going to be talking about who some of the staff members are and putting that together over the course of the week, and possibly have on some of the mass coaches that's going to be coaching versus Connecticut. And just maybe, Tito, I'll reveal the 2026 All-Star uniforms.
Don't do that, because when you don't reveal them, then we got to be getting texts all day about, nah. Don't say that, because if they're not ready.
I'm going to reveal the All-Star uniforms. Well, I'm in Florida next week. We're going to do a reveal, y'all. I got to get it together this week. Somehow, some way, I need to shoot and get the All-Star reveal done And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get a reveal done. We're going to make it pop. And that's what we're going to do. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Tonight was a great night. It's your boy PH the Prez, Mr. Above 140. And I'm here with my co-host.
It's your boy Coach Correa, the General, Bell City Broncos, 860 Army. Peace to the gods.
Peace to the gods and the earths. And stop complaining about people not supporting you. Strangers are going to make you rich. Peace.
Peace.
We got a fun-filled show
Get
tonight.
hot. I met a boy today.
It's your boy Coach Correa, the General, 860 Army.
She loving my style every time I'm
You ain't need more money, Tito. You could have just invited 6 or 8 you down to Nationals.
I'm around. She caught me
When certain people don't get their way or they feel slighted, they feel like they have a right to call us and voice their opinion. You don't.
The hood, we locked the
Clear. I've never removed a staff to allow a staff to move up.
No,
Never.
that's not what I'm saying. Now everybody's a personal trainer. We know who the originals are, but now if you look, you can find them in every town.